Hey guys, this is just a really quick trigger warning. I do talk about suicide in this video. It's very brief, but it is there, and I just want to warn you all. So if you're going through it, please reach out, talk to someone. The National Suicide Hotline number is going to be right down here on the screen. Please call it and use it. That's what it's there for, okay? And thank you guys so much. Hey everybody, Jeff here with Creative Depression. A lot of you have asked me if I would mind going over sort of my own journey with depression, sort of how it started. By a lot, I mean two of you. All right. While I don't mind sort of talking about how it started, I don't really want to detail the entire thing because that's not really what this channel is about. I'm not here to talk about myself, honestly. I don't mind going over some of it with you guys because I do want you all to get to know me a little bit and sort of understand where I'm coming from and sort of my own history with it. But this channel is really about helping creative people and artists, deal with their mental health so that we can all just be more productive creators, right? That's what the channel is really about. So that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on myself too much, but I did find a compromise. And what I don't mind doing is kind of going through where it started and how that led to finding my creative self. Because my depression did sort of transition me into being a more creative person, and I find that kind of fascinating. So that's what we'll talk about in this week's video. All right. So thank you so much for being here, and let's just get into it. Okay. If you are joining me for the first time this week, this is Creative Depression. This channel is dedicated to helping all of the artists and the creators out there deal with their mental health so that we can all focus on what matters the most. And that is, of course, creating as much art as possible for the world, right? Before we do get into this week's video, though, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon for those notifications so you know when I release my videos. It's supposed to be once a week right now. I'm having a really hard time finding my rhythm, though. I'm working on it, you guys, I promise. And that's really about it. Let's just get right into it, all right? So where does this story begin? I think a lot of these types of stories begin in high school. That is definitely the genesis of my depression. That's sort of where it all started. So I don't know about you guys, but when I was that age, there was really one thing that in my head defined me as a person, and that was my ability to play soccer. It was my athletic ability. That's it. I looked at that as my future, as my entire world. I was eating, living, drinking, breathing soccer. That's all I did all year round. And, I also played a lot of video games too. That was it, that was my future. I didn't see anything beyond that. If you would have asked me freshman, sophomore year, what do you plan on doing with your life? I just would have assumed I was coaching soccer. I didn't have a clue, to be honest with you. I didn't. Freshman year, sophomore year, I didn't have it figured out. To me, it was soccer. That was it. So freshman year I made the soccer program and I went to a very competitive high school. I thought I was off and running, and I was no longer above average. I had to do things to sort of stand out, and I wasn't doing them. My confidence was at an all-time low at that point. Because of that, I was that was my weakness, and it was sort of a kink in the armor, if you will. And a lot of players saw that, and that's what they preyed on, and I didn't have the emotional maturity at that time. I don't know a lot of kids that do, to sort of handle it. And so hazing, which was normal, I don't know if it still is normal or not, it just kept going. It never stopped. I was no longer a freshman. I was now a sophomore, and it kept going. And it used to be isolated to the soccer field or the practice or the locker room. It started spilling out into other areas. It infested my entire life, and I kept this separate from I had a really close group of friends and I kept it separate from them. I don't know if a lot of them knew what was going on. It just got worse and worse and worse until it sort of came to a head sophomore year. I had to be on a bus with these people to away games. So it's two bus rides. And those bus rides were just absolutely terrifying and awful for me. There was one incident that got really physical, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to really talk about it, but trying to illustrate how bad it got, okay? I allowed these individuals to take my future away from me because my future in my head was soccer. So when you allow people to take that away from you, when you let that happen, it's pretty much like you're allowing them to take your world away from you, really. You're allowing them to take your life away, you know? And that's how I ended up feeling. At the worst, it got to the point where not only did I not want to be at school, but I really just didn't want to be existing, to be honest with you. I just really didn't. I didn't want to be on the earth anymore. But even to this day, that's really what helps me. Knowing that I'm loved a lot by all of my family and all of my friends. I need that love, and I don't ever want that love to go away. And that's what would happen if I were to go through with that, you know. So that's really what keeps me here, and that rings true even back then. It's really tough. It's really tough to even talk about it. That's why it's taken me so long to even get this video done, because I think subconsciously I just haven't really wanted to talk about it, you know. How did this lead to my creative side, right? That's what this video is about. You know, I needed something to replace soccer with. And sophomore year, actually, I tried to get into the culinary arts program at my school and I couldn't get in. It was a really popular elective. We had a state-of-the-art kitchen in high school, and this is a public school. I would come home from school after a crappy day, you know, and I would just kind of vibe out to Great Chefs of America and Great Chefs of the World. I don't remember what channel those two shows are on. I haven't had cable in like a decade, so I don't really even remember. I think maybe the Biography channel? Was that a thing? I can't really remember. I'm showing my age, I'm sure.
I'm 37?
It just had this profound effect on me, and it brought out the creative side of me, and I really wanted to give it a shot. The culinary arts program was a complete 180 to the soccer program. Shout out to Mrs. Watkins and Mrs. Richardson for teaching me everything. They didn't put me down, they lifted me up. They rebuilt my confidence in a matter of months, you know? They really pushed me and just made me really believe in myself and showed me that I was good at this. It turned me into a brand new person. It really did, you know? And soccer was no longer on my mind, at least on a school level. Culinary was now my thing, you know, and I saw a future in it. Everybody has to eat. I did end up cooking for 15, 16 years. For a decade and a half, that's what I did. That was my lifeline, you know? I still have that now to go back on if I need it. And I love it. I really do. You know, I really still have a passion for cooking and the creative side of it, you know? That creativity led to my photography. And so, yeah, culinary was my way in. I think that my depression in high school pushed me in a direction that I honestly thank God that happened. You know, you have to find the silver lining in everything, really. You know, and so I'm grateful that high school happened. I really am. You know, I don't think I would change anything. I really don't. I can't believe the journey that high school sort of. I mean, that whole thing is just crazy to me looking back at it, that's what led to my creative side, that was my end. My end was cooking. That's a unique creative art. It's also a very practical end to the arts too, because again, everybody needs to eat. I think if you're looking for something that's on the creative side of things, I would definitely check it out. I guess that's really about it. I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you found it interesting. I don't really like talking about myself, to be honest with you. That's not really what the channel is about. I think I mentioned that earlier. But, you know, some of you asked, so I thought I would just go ahead and share it. All right, so that's this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me while I kind of figure this whole process out. I've had a lot of setbacks. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm really not. I also haven't been the most productive that I could possibly be. You got to prioritize. You've got to make sure that you're doing the things that are most important first before you do the other things. And I haven't been doing that, to be honest with you. But it's out there now. It's done. Thank you so much for watching. Please, before you guys leave, if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit all those buttons, all right? And if you haven't done it yet, please do hit the bell icon. That's going to let you know when I release new videos, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, all right? Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later.